Welcome everybody to our review of Jaws 3.
Jaws 3D. The third dimension is terror.
Or some people know it as Jaws 3D.
Yeah, I mean,
Whoever saw it.
If you saw it in 3D.
If you saw it in 3D and if you saw it in theaters, I'm sorry to hear that.
Lord knows I didn't.
Okay, so I just want to preface it, start off by saying that this movie is not as bad as Jaws of Revenge, so that's good.
Yeah, that's a plus.
But that's not saying a whole lot as far as Jaws of Revenge actually got made. I still can't believe that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, not as bad. Don't think it needed a sequel, though, because look how that turned out.
Yeah, no.
But
no, they could have just stopped here, and it would have been okay, but when they went to Jaws of Revenge, I think...
I was like, really?
Yeah, the franchise was dead in the water after number 3, definitely.
Dead in the water.
Okay. Yeah, so, plot of this movie, very, very similar to the first two Jaws movies.
Of course. What else could you do with Jaws?
Yep. It's a little different, but killer shark in SeaWorld.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. It's not at Amity Island, we're now at SeaWorld, you know, and we're following Dennis Quaid's character, who is Mike Brody, who we're introduced to in the beginning of the movie.
Who's a more interesting Mike Brody.
Who is a more interesting Mike Brody than Lance Guest, who is like sleepwalking. It looks like he's sleepwalking through his role, seriously. His acting.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't want to be in this movie
But
anymore.
This one is more likable, I think.
Yes, it is. This is a guilty pleasure. First time I saw this, I was laughing constantly at how bad it was. But it does have its redeemable qualities because you can actually have a fun time with this as a guilty popcorn, stupid fun time.
And at least the shark didn't explode because a boat nudged it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we don't have absurdity like that, like in Jaws of Revenge. So yeah, Baby Shark gets caught in one of the SeaWorld tanks, and they try to save it, and it dies. I don't even remember why it dies. It just does to further the plot.
because plot.
Because
well, I'm dead.
You need to move the plot along.
Like, come on, okay, nothing interesting happening. Just kill him off.
Yeah,
so whatever.
Yeah. So Baby Shark dies. Although it's later on in the movie's only a little over an hour and a half. It's like an hour and 48 minutes, I think. But we finally see the mama shark, who is massive, and that's really the Jaws in this movie. The baby shark is
very motionless.
Very motionless, yeah. Yeah, it's almost like they gave up with trying to animate the shark in this movie.
It's like, well, the shark's there, just don't mess with it.
Yeah.
It's like, would we mess with a real-life shark? No,
just
don't mess with that one. It's like, whatever.
Yeah, so, yeah, plot story, that's it. It's Jaws 1 and 2 minus the part at Amity Island, now we're at SeaWorld. Cool! Okay.
Yeah, because, everyone loves SeaWorld.
Right, and it's a bigger place for the shark to munch people, because there's more people, you know? I don't know if there's more people.
Well, I mean, it's not really a bigger place, because it's a tank compared to the ocean.
True, but it ups the ante in the sense of, like, oh, it's at SeaWorld now, you know? It's a cool concept, but the movie doesn't really take hold of the potential that could be the greatness of this movie. It kind of squanders the potential of, like, it could be really cool. Jaws at SeaWorld, you know? That's a cool concept, but the way this movie executes it is not cool.
Yeah, it was better on paper.
Yeah, it was better on paper. You should have just left it on paper.
Just left it on paper and then, like, shred it up. It's like, this will never happen. No, just no. It's a bad idea.
Put it in the paper shredder and never think about it ever again.
Don't even bring it up.
Yeah, don't even bring it up. Oh, there's my water. So, yeah, we said Dennis Quaid is Michael Brody. He's the lead character, if you want to call him that. Doesn't have much character development. He's our heroine, sort of, I guess. I don't know. He and Bess Armstrong, who is his love interest, if you want to call her that.
Love.
Like
love. I don't know if they're love. They show it, sort of. Not really. I don't know. Love.
Yeah, they're kind of like flirting with each other throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you call love. Flirting. Because, of course, when you flirt with someone, you obviously love them. That's how it works.
What? Of course. I'm not even questioning it anymore. Because this is Jaws 3. And we shouldn't question it. Yeah, so Bess Armstrong as the doctor who he's kind of got the hots for. Dennis Quaid, he's fine in the role. He doesn't do a whole lot, you know. He just kind of moves through scenes, and he probably has the most emotion out of everybody, you know. Other people like Simon McCorkindale, Jesus, you gotta get a better name. Holy crap. As Philip Fitzroyce, or he's just referred to as Fitzroyce in the movie. He's the douche who wants to film all of this, you know, and get coverage and everything. And he is like, he's pretty much emotionless through the whole movie. He could be a cardboard cutout, and he'd be like...
He's like a villain from the cartoon. He's like a villain from a cartoon.
Yeah.
Where he's very one note.
Yes, he is very one note. He's like a cardboard cutout, the actual actor. What's the difference? I'm having a hard time here.
He's like, wait, don't tell me. It's the one that doesn't talk, right?
Yeah. Am I close?
It acts just as well.
Yeah, so he... yeah, then we've also got Louis Gossett Jr. as Calvin Bouchard, a.k.a. The black guy who has to die, of course, in the movie.
Because, you know, black.
Because...
Well, I mean...
Because cliches in movies.
When it comes to those kind of characters,
yeah,
you know, they're really just in it so that they can just get killed off. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and that's kind of true for all the Jaws movies, although the characters in the first two were more interesting, and we got backstory, and they were decently made films, you know? We cared. In the third and the other one, we don't care. In fact, we just want to see the shark eat people. And we get that, sort of, but not in the way that we want. We don't get as many people. It's like, hey, that person's annoying. That person, I really want that person to die. Really? You kill off all these other people, but not these people who are annoying the crap out of us. Okay.
Those are the annoying guys. Why are you killing those guys off?
Those guys they're fine. These guys are the ones that need to go.
The sharks don't like to... Well, sharks are like us. They don't want to be around annoying food. I mean, if your food talks to you, why would you want to eat it? It's like,
scary.
I'm going to go with the ones that don't talk. I'm going to be over here.
That sounds like you're referencing Sausage Party, because talking food, man. I mean, why not?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't eat food if it talked. It's just like, I prefer to eat food that doesn't talk, so that it doesn't, like, talk to me while I'm eating them.
Yeah,
it's like, why are you eating me now?
I'd be very self-conscious if that happens. Yeah, yeah, all very forgettable characters, besides Bess Armstrong and Dennis Quaid, who are our leads. They're fine. They're serviceable. They do what they need to do in the movie, you know.
I mean, they all I can say is they get the job done. That's pretty much
They get the job done. Yeah, that's about it. John Putch. Again, that's not a hard name to pronounce, but geez, he's got to get a better last name. Putch? Really?
Get a better name like John Cena. Okay.
That would be great. John Putch Cena.
Oh, so that's why it sold really well. Jaws 3 need a sequel because John Cena was in 3. I get it.
Of course. He plays... Yeah, Sean Brody. That's the end of the cast. Sean Brody, he's, again, serviceable in this movie. He and Dennis Quaid kind of have this brotherly rivalry in the movie, sort of, but they aren't really in most scenes together when everything hits the fan, you know?
Yeah, you know, we're rivals, but we're rarely seen together. Well, that's what makes us rivals.
And they're brothers, so it's like, oh, okay, so we're family, we're brothers, that's why we want to stay.
We're trying to avoid each other at all costs. That's how rivalries work.
Apparently. And and Sean also has a love interest going with this other woman, who I didn't even write her name down. Should talk about Mario. Oh, I despise that name and that character. Mario! The fact that he's associated with the video game character at all is not okay.
Yeah, but you know,
yeah.
I like Mario more than Mario!
That's true. That's true, man. Who names somebody Mario Van Peebles? That's like most laughable.
Well, funny thing is, when you say Mario, I think of Mario, Nintendo. Van, like Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Peebles, like Pebbles from the Flintstones.
That's like a hybrid right there of like all sorts of things and put into one person.
And you get Jake from John Sport.
Who isn't even good. She's like, Jake. I'm Jake, man.
Yeah, and you get Jake. Whatever.
Oh my god.
Hey, I'm Jake.
Yep. So, those we've covered all the characters. The only ones that are memorable in the slightest are Bess Armstrong and Dennis Quaid, because obviously Dennis Quaid has gone on to make better movies.
So, when it comes to Jaws 3D, one of my main gripes with it is that it's not memorable in a good or a bad way. So there's not many scenes you'll remember because it's so good, and there's not many scenes that you remember because it's so bad.
Yeah, it's not a movie that will make you, like, hate yourself while you're watching it, like Jaws the Revenge. But it's also not a movie that you're going to remember in, like, T-minus 1-2 hours tops.
Like Jaws 1,
right.
especially.
Jaws 1 you'll remember for years because it's so memorable. The score, the acting, just the way everything's shot, the suspense. There's also not much suspense in this movie. That being said, they don't up and just show the shark like Jaws the Revenge, like, okay, all suspense gone. So I guess the movie does that in a way, you know, and there's a couple of good scenes, but the CGI is laughable. I'm going to jump right into action and effects because screw it.
I mean, there's not much talk about story because,
Yeah, we already covered stories, characters, if you want to call them that, go ahead, but there's not really anything to write home about.
I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't either. So action and effects, when this movie came out in theaters, it was meant to be 3D, so even the opening credits are in 3D.
Yeah, but the 3D is laughable and it's really forced. So if you're watching 3D, it's like, that's stupid. If you're watching 2D, it's like, that's stupid. It's just the same thing.
It's just not good either way, and especially if you're not watching in 3D, the movie just looks really bad, you know? I mean, all the effects and everything, including one of the most infamous scenes, along with the shark roaring like a lion, and the, you know, just a lot of the scenes that didn't make sense in Jaws' Revenge. We have that infamous scene in Jaws 3 where the mama shark is just coming towards the glass.
And then just
really slowly,
and then just pokes it with her nose.
Pokes it with its nose, shatters. Shark doesn't move at all. Just
it's like, yeah, we're too lazy for animation, so it's like, screw it.
And none of the characters notice this until it's like right on top of them. They're like,
I could.
Shark! Yeah, he doesn't even finish. He doesn't even say shark.
I could do a better job than Flash. It's like moving the thing from one to the other. Okay, got the movement down. Now just put some animation in between, and it's not hard.
No, there's 100 ways they could have made that scene better, but they just said, nah, whatever, forget it. Ting. So yeah, and then the film just becomes laughable after that. It was already pretty awful, but
I mean, the explosion doesn't help it either.
No. No, it doesn't. The explosion is red cloud. Oh, and then we have really awful CGI Jaws.
Okay, that's definitely from Flash. There's no way.
Adobe Flash. That's who's to blame for Jaws 3.
Oh, Adobe. Okay. Blame them. Are they the directors? They were behind the scenes.
Maybe.
Adobe.
Yeah, they're to blame. Yeah. So the explosion. Grenade, the guy gets eaten, pull the grenade, CGI Jaws, looks awful, even in 3D, although I guess it would look better in 3D. It's like, you can see it, it's like, going off the TV.
It just freezes out the frame for like a little bit longer than what's comfortable. Because it doesn't just show it and then just go to the next thing. It shows it, sits there for like at least 5 to 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then cuts it. It's
like the fish.
What?
Like the fish who gets munched at the beginning of the opening credits. You see half of this fish's head or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay.
Like next scene.
Yeah, next scene. We don't care.
Next scene.
It's not gonna.
What the heck? Cut it already.
It's not scary at that point, and you know this movie also has more underwater shots at the beginning of every Jaws movie. And the credits are at least cool to look at, although they might give you a seizure if you're not watching them with 3D glasses. Or if you are watching
if you're watching with 3D glasses, your head will probably explode or something. I mean, you're gonna get a headache like the 3D on a 3DS or something.
It's like, why do I have to read Dennis Quaid in 3D?
As the texts are going right towards me. It's like, I can't read it. Back up.
You're literally being insulted by the credits. It's like, too much.
It's like, back up, man.
Yeah.
Like, I want to actually read the words.
Yeah. So with the potential that this movie could have had, it squanders it for a very generic story, the Jaws formula, but even so, it's a lazy Jaws formula, you know?
It's pretty cookie cutter.
Yeah.
It's a point A, point B movie.
Yeah, there are a couple of memorable scenes, not in the sense of, like, good memorable, like Jaws 1, but bad memorable, kind of like Jaws the Revenge. Up with the, the explosion and the shark. We also have the death scene where they find the corpse of the guy who's been underwater for quite a while. Mm-hmm. And it pulls off... We'll have a clip of it. It pulls off the cover, and Dennis Quaid's looking at him, and it kind of just stays on the body. Again, 3D.
It's like, ooh,
look at it.
Spooky, scary skeleton right here.
And it's gross, but after a while it loses its effect. And then we see Dennis Quaid's reaction,
like, okay,
which is really funny, because he's like looking at it. Big eyes.
Fuck.
Turns, he's like...
He's like, oh, fuck. Another thing I remember is, I don't know if they were actually underwater or something. I think they were in, like, the yellow sub.
Yeah.
With the yellow submarine. It looked like a McDonald's toy.
Yes.
It's like rotating. It's like, look, we're cool. Also, it's like a toy. It's not real. No one cares.
I think this movie just wanted to sell a lot of merchandise, because that's kind of what it felt like. It was a big cash grab. That's what this movie felt like.
Sponsored by Toys R Us. It's like, see how fake the shark is? You can buy that for like $10. It's only a pillow. That's why it doesn't move, right?
If they explained that in the movie, it would have been a better movie.
Or at the end, it's like, oh yeah, you know that shark you blew up? It's a pillow. It's like,
yeah.
oh, okay. Then the credits roll.
Yep.
That would have been better. It's like, I would have laughed. That would have been funny. It's like, what? That's only a pillow? Then how did the shark bleed? But,
or did it? I don't know.
Was that the red stuffing? I get it. It all makes sense.
And you brought up the credits, and right before the end credits roll, we get them escaping and whatever, they've blown up the shark with that guy, the dead guy's grenade in the mouth. He's not munched up or anything. He's still in there for some weird reason.
Well, the funny thing is, he didn't actually get eaten. It's like he just lodged himself in the shark.
Yeah, he kind of like crawled into it.
And then
accident.
when they show the scene where he's in it and the shark's mouth is moving up and down, where it's like, well, apparently the shark's teeth is in the back of its throat.
Yeah, it's like, so he's dead then? Okay.
He's dead?
Yeah.
He didn't even get hit by the teeth like once.
Yeah,
he's just sitting there like, oh, this is comfortable. I like it.
Yeah, and then you get your big shot at the end. They come out of the water, and they're worried about the dolphins. The two dolphins.
The dolphins.
If this movie had a hashtag, it would be #Dolphin Lives Matter.
Dolphin Lives Matter. Better movement than the Black Lives Matter.
If that had come up before the end, that would have been better, because
the end. #Dolphin Lives Matter.
That would have been a better movie than what we got, because they're worried about the dolphins. They're not worried about all the people at SeaWorld, fellow humans who might have gotten killed. Oh no, they're fine. Where are the dolphins?
People are people. The dolphins, they're important.
They're important. And they both come up, and you get a really weird shot of them like spinning in the air and freezes, and Bess Armstrong's character yelling for joy and everything. And freeze frame, the end.
yeah, your stereotypical movie where they're like running at the camera, they all jump, and it's just over. It's like, yeah!
It's an abrupt ending. It's an abrupt ending. I mean, all the Jaws movies have abrupt endings except for the last one, which I wish...
Which, unfortunately...
Unfortunately, I wish that didn't have an abrupt... I did have an abrupt one, because it could have ended sooner. But yeah, this movie is... It's not too terribly long. It could have been a lot better than it was, and it's still got some really funny moments, but for the most part, it's a very forgettable Jaws sequel. Jaws 2 is much more memorable for many reasons, so... Mm-hmm. And maybe I'm sure we'll review Jaws 1 and Jaws 2 at some point, but that's for another time.
I mean, what is there to say about them that hasn't already been said, though?
That's true. We'll bring our own take to it or something. But I think we've been talking about action and movie effects for quite a while now. The music, John Williams' score, they use it again. But it doesn't feel...
What else is there to use for a Jaws movie?
Right, and it's intense at times, and it's exciting, and some of the scenes work. I just wish the whole movie worked and was better than what we actually got. So... Overall, Jaws 3 for me was a disappointment. That being said, it's not the absolute trash heap that is Jaws the Revenge. I can watch this movie again and multiple times and have a good time with it, I can still pick it apart. But it's not like I'm going to want to wash my eyes out with bleach, like after watching Jaws: The Revenge. So,
well, I mean, that's debatable, but...
Yeah, it's a little debatable. They're both bad, but Jaws 3 has some redeeming qualities, and Dennis Quaid. So, yeah, it's got that.
That's pretty good.
That's it for music. I think we've said everything we want to say about Jaws 3. Guilty pleasure. Guilty popcorn pleasure. Stupid, fun time.
Fun.
If you like bad movies, and the bad movies that aren't as bad as some of those other ones. And you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so I'm gonna rate this.
Okay.
Yeah, comment down there. I'm gonna rate Jaws 3 a 3 out of 10. I know that's ironic because it's Jaws 3. Only reason I'm going to give it a 3. 3 reasons. I'm sensing a theme here.
Because it's Jaws 3.
Because it's Jaws 3. No.
Movie.
No, Dennis Quaid, 1. The fact that it's not Jaws: The Revenge, 2. And it's a cool concept. Like, at SeaWorld, it just doesn't work, like, all the time. So those are the 3 reasons why I will give it a 3 out of 10. Marco, what would you rate Jaws 3? I mean...
Well, I mean, my closing statement would be, it's not Jaws 2, but it's not Jaws 4. Jaws 4 made me want to drink the bleach. This makes me just want to use eye bleach and not actually kill myself. So, I'm going to rate it bad, which would be -1.
-1.
-1 out of 3.
-1 out of 10.
Out of 3.
Okay, -1 out of 3.
Yeah, there you go.
Alright.
So,
yeah,
so it's not as bad, but it could be just as bad.
Yeah, so it's just, no one's going to remember it. No one has remembered it. The fact that I didn't even know there were 2 other sequels after the second one. So the fact that, you know, I got a little bit of enjoyment out of Jaws 3. I did. I won't lie, I did. But I didn't get any enjoyment out of Jaws 3 except for just ripping it apart.
I mean, that's what I like to do with the disc. like, fuck this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, so, -1 out of 10 for you, or
3.
out of 3, whatever.
-1 out of 3.
Just bad. I'm gonna give it 3 out of 10. Don't see this movie. If you like good movies, if you like bad movies, check it out. It's
If you like
get it
bad
on.
movies, just
Watch it on cable. Don't pay to see this movie. It's definitely not worth it.
$5 on YouTube for 24 hours. Why not?
Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah. Jaws 3, everybody. And hopefully Mark will be back soon for us to review Jaws 1 and Jaws 2, perhaps. I don't know. Got a lot of stuff going on, but I'm sure we'll get to it at some point.
Actually, next time, we're going to be doing Jaws 19, if you've heard of it.
I don't actually know if that's a real movie, but if it is... If it ends up...
I saw reviews of it,
Yeah.
a YouTube trailer of it,
Yeah.
and it got like a 6.1 out of 10. They're just like, is that even real? And then Jaws in Tokyo, Jaws in...
Jaws, it was Jaws in Japan.
Oh yeah, Jaws in Japan. It was like, is that real?
But Jaws of Revenge was worse enough. I mean, how you made more? It's like, when does it ever
I don't know
end?
if these are real, but...
I don't
If
know.
they are, we're watching it and we're coming back here.
Yeah.
So
Jaws 19 to be continued.
It's a bootleg.
Maybe. Yeah. So that's Jaws 3. Yeah, and we'll see you guys in the next review. Peace out, everybody.
Yeah, great Jaws.